Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Michael Hartley with Action Coach. What needs to pivot in my business, kickstart your day, get you refocused, because business is changing daily right now. This is the fourth episode specifically on leadership. So when we look at leadership, we start always, every single day with focusing on our mindset. When we look at our mindset, we've walked through a handful of tools, resources, things that we can do to make sure that our mindset is strong every single day. So when we look at building a strong mindset, who do you surround yourself with? Who are those individuals that you are surrounding yourself with every single day? Who are those individuals that, they say, you're the sum of the closest 5 people to you. Who are those? Are they pushing you to be better? Are they holding you back? Who are the people you surround yourself with? What are the things that they're saying? What are the things that you're listening to? What are the things that you're watching? When you look at who you surround yourself with and the things that you go to seek out, the things that you're listening to and watching, what are those consistent messages that you're getting? Are they that of future pace, or are they that of past tense? Are they that of positivity, or are they that of all the negative things going on right now? When we talk about building a strong mindset, who are the people you surround yourself with? What are you currently listening to? What are you currently watching? Who is pouring into you? Who are those leaders and people in your life who are pouring into you? And what are they saying? What is the verbiage that they're using? What are the words that they're saying? You see, we must only allow certain things to be poured into us that move us forward instead of holding us back. So think about it. Who are you surrounding yourself with? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Who's pouring into you? Because what I want to ask is, now, who should you be surrounding yourself with? Who should you be listening to? What should you be watching? Who should be pouring into you? What mentors, coaches, people in your life should be pouring into you? And then go do that. Go make that shift. Go make that change. Cut out, remove anyone who's in your life right now holding you back. Cut out anyone who is pouring negativity into your mindset. Stop listening or watching the crap out there of all the negativity. Focus on what you want. Focus on what you can control. Focus on seeking out those who you want to pour into you. Back in 2007, 2008, when I opened my first business and it absolutely failed, I realized I needed to shift my circle of influence. I needed to go seek out individuals who could pour into me and guide me on a better path. So who are those for you? I was very fortunate enough to have some amazing mentors throughout my entire life. Thing is they didn't seek me out. I sought them out. And they completely shifted the path that I ended up on. So focusing on your mindset first and foremost. Now we get into leadership. Going back to the rules from the past 3 episodes. Rule number 1, leadership first, location second. Leading remotely requires you to lead differently. Working remotely changes interpersonal dynamics. Rule number 4, use technology as a tool, not a barrier. Number 5, leading requires a focus on the 3O model. And again, if you haven't watched any of those past episodes, they're all recorded and in a playlist on YouTube. Number 6, leading successfully requires achieving goals. Focus on achieving the goals, not just setting them. Number 8, coach your team regardless of where they work. And there's a couple points here real quick that I want to dive into more on rule 8, and then we'll keep going. So when we look at that on coaching your team, 2-way conversation. Make sure that you're not just doing all the talking. Again, coaching is about asking questions. Ask great questions. Start the dialogue. Always follow up after coaching to confirm the message that they received. What are those things? Okay, so we had a great team meeting today. Here's the certain things that, as the leader of the business, I've outlined. What are your action items to move forward with? I want to make sure that everyone's on the same page moving forward. Things like that. When you coach your team, you help them think. It's not about being the super boss. It's not about, one of my mentors says, I have a big old S on my chest. It's not about that. It shouldn't be about that. It's about helping your team think so that way they can go do the work. Now, you may need to approve certain things, and that makes sense. The key is that you're not just giving them all the answers. Help them think, coach them through the process, ask great questions, and then follow up to confirm the message that they received. So those are a couple quick points on rule number 8 that I wanted to make sure that we touched on one more time. Then rule 9, again, these are review. Communicate in ways that work best for others, other than just your personal preference. We talked a lot about this yesterday. Leading successfully requires an understanding of what people are thinking, not just doing, understanding their mindset. And again, this is where DISC and VAC and things like that kick in. And again, go watch those previous episodes if you weren't able to do that. Number 11, the final one from yesterday, building trust at a distance doesn't happen on accident. And that leads directly into number 12, which is where we start today. Number 12, identify the leadership results that you need. Then select a communication tool to achieve those results. What are the end results that we are looking to achieve with whatever we're talking about leading through, setting goals and commitments and stuff right now in the business? What are those things? Identify the end result, the intended outcome. What is the intended outcome we want out of this? And if there is not an economic gain to the business, why are we doing it? If we're not becoming more efficient as a team so we can be more productive, if we're not increasing client retention, if we're not increasing clients at all, if we're not focused on anything that would be an economic gain to the business, are we helping our team move forward? Are they growing? Is this something where they can make more money and be more prosperous for their own family? Is it something that is mental knowledge to help build what their skill set is to get them to the next level? These are all types of economic gains that your business can have. So you must identify the results needed and then select the tools to achieve those results. And oftentimes we start with communication, because if communication is a mess, then results are going to be a mess. If chaos is in your business, it's not about just adding more to the chaos. Sometimes I use this analogy a lot. For anyone who's ever been in the entertainment business, or if you've known anyone in the entertainment business, sound engineers. When you look at a sound engineer, whether that is for a record, a music album, whether that is in a concert, a play, a theatrical performance, whatever that is, sound engineers. The best sound engineers in the world understand that it's not about going, I can't hear something clearly enough. It's not about pushing it louder. Most of us, that's what we try to do. We just try to push it louder. The best sound engineers in the entire world understand it's actually what they remove. So like, okay, there's a solo coming up, whatever that might be. It's not about making it louder. It's about reducing all the other noise around it. Helping the audience focus where they need to focus. And oftentimes in communication, we go, let's just pour more into it, right? Let's just brute force this thing. Oftentimes it's about removing the noise, becoming more clear. Now that we're efficient, now we can start to move forward. For communication to be effective and appropriate, strike the right balance between richness and scope. Richness, one-to-one, tone, expression, body language, word choice. The richness is the quality. The richness of your conversation, of your communication, is the quality of it. How you do it. Does this need to be in a group setting? Does it need to be individual? Tonality absolutely matters. I'll give you an example of how tone, cadence, and things like that can matter outside of a team environment. So you go to a restaurant and you say, okay, so would you like tea or coffee? That is a yes or no question. Would you like tea or coffee? I'm gonna use the exact same words, change the tone. Would you like tea or coffee? Now that became an either or question. That's how tone and cadence and pace can absolutely shift the conversation. Exact same words, just how it was said was different. Scope is now the quantity and the means by which to do it. So is it an email, is it a newsletter, is it a recorded message? I'll provide different types of mediums of how to communicate. A lot of times, if this is something that needs to be directed at an individual, towards an individual, you need different types of mediums to increase the richness of that communication. So again, when we look at what are the results we want to have, what's the economic gain we're looking for, now we have to select the right tools to achieve those results. Be mindful what you are trying to get across and to whom, how richly, it really needs to be done. This also, by the way, quick aside, also applies to when you ask for referrals. There are different levels of receiving referrals, and they're all based on this exact same principle. So understanding what those are is really important. So richness and scope when identifying the communication tool needed to achieve the results you're looking to achieve. Number 13, maximize the tool's capacity, capability, or you'll minimize its effectiveness. What does that actually mean? Let's dive in. So use the technology that we have at our disposal, which again, in today's climate is more now than it's probably ever been. I was actually just mentioning to one of my team members the other day, we all of a sudden have way more Zoom functions in our toolbox than we've ever had. They just added a whole bunch of stuff over this week, on when this is actually being done live and recorded. This first week of April they've added a whole bunch of new stuff. They have more money now than they've ever had. And so they've instantly applied that to their platform. The technology that we have at our disposal, we should leverage. We should use it properly. So choose the right tool for the right job. Video or recorded message. I do my best to do at least one video and recorded message to my teams every single week. Oftentimes around the health of the business, where we're at, or our focus, what the focus of the business should be, where we're going, results we're getting, can be around different things. Sometimes it's going to be more fun. Right now, our team needs communication on what we're doing and why we're doing it. 90 days from now, it may be around, okay, great guys, look at that. We just made it through the past 90 days. We're moving forward. Let's go celebrate. This is a 90-day game that we are in right now in business. 90 days. For us here in Texas, this is week 2 of 13. So we have 10 to 11 more weeks of how life is right now. And so when we shift our leadership to virtually, we have to understand that this is going to be the way it is going to be for a while. So video and recorded message absolutely helps with team-wide communications and stuff like that. Common file locations, making sure that you have a single place where all your information is at that the team can gain access to. And once they have access to it, it's not about you giving them resources anymore. It's about them going to find them, because again, you want them to be thinking of, how do I go get this? Think on their own versus you hand feeding them. You have to be able to have a common place that works for everybody. And once you have that common place for all the files and needed information, now it's about everyone being able to have access to it and going and getting it. Email is a great thing for questions and things like that, primarily because it's a recorded means. I can save it, I can organize it, I can put it in folders, I can flag it, I can pin it, I can star it. I mean, depending on your email platform, you can choose all sorts of different colors for it. If that helps you organize. Email is a great use for team communication because of those reasons, because it allows a single place to store, save, and archive all needed questions, documents, and things like that. And then you take the documents and you put them in your common file locations, and now we're cooking. What you don't want, though, is too much scattered email, right? I talk to a lot of people all the time. They're always like, hey, I got 300 emails in my inbox. I had one client who a couple weeks ago was like, well, this is a win for me, because we talk about wins a lot. And they're like, a win for me is that I only have 125 unread emails now. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. So it's not about more, it's about more concise, more efficient. So you should have a system for your emails. You should have a system for your common file locations. You should have a system on how often you record videos and send them out. Webcam and video chat is the best, broadest tool that we have in our toolbox right now. Have video conversations with your team live consistently. Again, at least once a week. What does that actually look like? What's it sound like? What's the agenda need to be? And when you then can encourage your management team, your leadership team, your key team members to do the same, the key for them is going to be, what's your agenda points? We're not just going to get on just to get on. We're going to have a purpose for this. So what's the agenda? What are we all bringing to the table? What's the intended outcomes of this conversation? Be very clear on those kind of things. I've seen a lot of businesses over the past probably 3 or 4 years now, where they will give the team an option of saying, so you're more than welcome to jump on our, at the time when it first kind of started, it was more Skype and things like that. Now, teams are leveraging more Google Hangouts and Zoom and things of these natures, the more common tools now of saying, we're just going to be on and, during these kind of hours. And so because we're a virtual team, if you are able to, you jump on and everyone will know you're accessible if your video's on. And, you're just kind of sitting there working. And if your video's on, that means that you're accessible and I can unmute myself and ask you a quick question. And everyone stays on mute until there's actual, questions and stuff like that needed. It helps in a virtual environment to leverage the tools and resources that we have. And then if their video's off, it means that they're not available. Back when, people were using Skype more often, which they still do, it gives you the opportunity to say if you're away or if you're idle or, when you'll be back, and allows you to have those kind of settings as well. Google Hangouts became super popular for a minute there as well. So you can leverage these kind of tools and resources in a virtual environment. Text messages. Text messages are great for quick answers. They are not the place to ask questions. They're for major questions or team-wide communication and stuff like that, because they get lost, they get deleted, harder to archive, it's harder to save them, harder to keep them organized. So team, text messages or just quick text messages are great for in the now. I need an answer right now in the next 5-10 minutes, maybe the next 60 minutes, next hour. Anything more than that, if it's a bigger question, don't use text. It's going to get lost. Telephone and phone conference calls. These are effective. There is no body language that we can communicate to each other through it. So this is why, again, we shift more things towards webcam, video calls, and things like that now. Telephone is great for I need an answer right now, or I'm just trying to reach out to somebody. Maybe I haven't talked to them in a while. I'm not able to get something on the calendar with them, so I'm just trying to reach out. Those kind of things are good too. So choose the right tool for the job. Depending on the communication type that you're trying to put out there, choose the right tool. Number 14, seek feedback to best serve outcomes. Start with existing evidence. So when you look at seeking feedback, you have to look at, first and foremost, what's the data we have right now? Look at the current files, the current emails, the notes that we have. Are we communicating what we need to communicate? So we got to start with the data we have in front of us at the moment. Identify people you trust. Develop trusted advisors. So seek out those who you want, going back to our mindset at the beginning of this whole episode. Seek out people you trust to pour into you. Develop those advisors and then seek their input. Ask open-ended questions. Be honest. One of the biggest things we see in businesses is the ability to increase their open and honest communication. And as a leader of the business, you must be transparent with your team. And it's not about being rude. It's not about just shutting them down. It's about being open and honest and saying, look, this is the way things are. So let's move through it. Whether that is in team results, whether that is in how you communicate, whether that is in, the products or services that you supply, whether that's in your supply chain, whether that's in your vendors, whatever that is for you, having open and honest communication is absolutely critical. Have these conversations as richly as possible. Again, we talked a minute ago about how to create rich conversations. Be patient. It's about the quality of the conversation, not the quantity of it. Less is more sometimes. So increase the richness, the quality of the conversations. Have the conversations over time. Allow people to prepare. This is why agendas are so important. So we're going to talk about these two things on this call. And if there is a needed, everyone's bringing something to the table, then that must be clearly outlined at the beginning. If it's just a matter of saying, here's the agenda that we're going to talk through, and I'm just going to lead through it, then great. That's what you've chosen as the leader of your business. But be clear. Give people time to prepare if needed. And the last one for today, of the 19 that we're going to cover in total, number 15 is examine your beliefs and self-talk. You must have a strong mindset. This goes right back to the beginning of the day. So beliefs define how you lead. Your belief system dictates how you lead your team and how you lead your business, how you lead your family. What are those beliefs and what's that self-talk that you have? What are you telling yourself? That's why I am statements and stuff that we talked about yesterday are so vastly important. Good leaders require a relatively healthy self-image. Again, it's not about ego. It's not about anything like that. It's just about being honest and open with yourself. Warning signs are things like, you're an idiot. That was the worst idea ever. I can't do this. I'm a fraud. I've heard those things. Sometimes the last one, actually, the most often, which is most interesting. I'm like, look, there's a reason why people pay you to do what you do or buy your product or service. And they wouldn't keep coming back. You wouldn't have repeat business if you weren't good at it. What are the things that you're telling yourself? One of my mentors taught me a while back, what you say to yourself about yourself when you're by yourself is oftentimes the most critical conversation you'll ever have. So what are you saying? Ways to address this and improve it. Check your assumptions. Accept positive feedback as valid from others. When people give you positive feedback, just accept it. Don't critique it, accept it. And oftentimes get help from others to shift your mindset. You know what? Especially for those that have coaches. This is why coaching is so important. Tell your coach, hey, I'm struggling with this right now. I have a mental warfare kind of going on. I don't believe I'm what I need to be. If you are saying those kind of things to yourself, let your coach or mentors help guide you through it. Examine your beliefs and self-talk. As a leader, you must be confident, not egotistical. You must be confident in what you're doing. And you need to give yourself a little bit of a break sometimes, because you're going to make bad decisions. There will be decisions you make that will be the wrong decision. The thing is that's okay. The key is you are making a decision to move your business forward, and then learn from it, and then make a better decision next time. Anyone who follows The Rock, the Dwayne, DJ, he talks a lot about the fact that he has a vision board, a massive one. It's just in chalk, and he puts up there everything that he wants to do. And he also puts on it all the things that he doesn't want to do again. He learns from the thing, like, man, this business or this movie or whatever it is, that tanked. Let's not do that again. So he has two different ones. He has one that's, for the thing that he doesn't want to ever redo, so he can learn from them and remember those things. And then he has one that is like, this is where I'm going. This is the type of stuff. These are the projects, the businesses I want to go create. I mean, the dude owns more businesses than he probably ever thought he would. Or maybe he had that vision. I don't know. Thing is he consistently reminds himself of what he's looking to go get. So do that for yourself as well. Examine your beliefs and your self-talk, and then move through it. So those are the up through 15 now. We got 18 to 19 to go in total. So we'll conclude the leadership series tomorrow. So we got to look at what we're going to do to take action. What are two things that you're going to pivot right now in this moment? And then by when? So when we talk about how you lead, communication, virtual, the tools and resources that we have, your communication system, because if you don't have a communication system, you need one. What do those things look like in your business? How are you properly leading your team with the tools and resources we have to be the right virtual leader that you need to be? The cadence and pace of all of it. Write those things down. And if you look at the questions we had at the beginning on mindset, who you surround yourself with, the things that you're listening to and watching, all of those kind of things. And then what should they be? What do they need to be in this moment? A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. John Maxwell. There is not a single thing I ask anyone on my team to do that I have not done before. And I seek out leaders who do the same thing. They're not going to guide me to doing something that they've never been willing to do before either. So wherever you're at, what are two things you're going to pivot right now in this moment? Write them down. Make the decision by when, and then go do them. And if you're looking in this virtual environment on how to connect with others, we have Action Network. It kicks off every Thursday at 11 o'clock. More information, dmh.actioncoach.com/networking. First 2 weeks are free for anyone who is not an Action Coach client. And if you are an Action Coach client, you go for free for life. It's a great way. We do things differently. I'm telling you right now, if you've never experienced it, you need to come experience it, because it's phenomenal. And it's a great way to connect with people. It's a great way to learn. And we guarantee that your business gets value every single week from it. And we're going to throw in a couple extra stuff. We're going to give you access to our business education for a month, which is over 8 months of learning. So you can dive into, the sections that you need focus on the most and stuff like that. And then we build your business. It's about creating strategic partners through networking to build your business in massive ways. So join us on Thursdays. It's a great place to start. And looking forward to seeing you all there. Again, two things that you need to pivot based off of today. Please type them in. And if you're not connected with us online, get connected. We're putting out more information, more content every single week. Would love to have you learning alongside of all of us as we move your businesses through this time, as we look to become the right virtual leaders and pivot our business to thriving, not just surviving. I'm Dr. Michael Hartley, y'all. If you have questions, type them in. If not, make it a great day.